Hey, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, all right? Make sure you log it in and you remember to check out my good friends over at the Broken Table Podcast live on YouTube. These are some of my good friends. They have some of the best topics going on. They're talking about a lot of good things. And also, they like to put over the Prince Nana dance. Hey, I swerve and I drive. I swerve and I drive. Hey. Don't forget, tune in, log on to the Broken Tables Podcast live on YouTube, my friends.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, Rome. And Rome, Kazuchika Okada is all elite. Let's fucking go.
But Jeff, the dirt sheets said he was going to WWE.
Didn't they? They were sure he was going to the Fed, weren't they?
Yeah, wasn't that crazy how those reports were going around like a month ago? Wasn't that just something else?
Yep, it was definitely something else. Man, I could not be happier to see him debut tonight. Last week Sunday we basically got Will Ospreay's debut as a full-time AEW wrestler. We got Okada here tonight, and then perhaps next week, almost certainly, we're getting Mercedes Moné. Dude, this roster is just piling on talent right now. Just absolutely piling it on.
Yeah, I think when you look at the roster, and we talked about it a lot on Sunday, it's just such a stacked roster, and you're like, it's kind of like sink or swim time for some of the people on the roster. It's like, well, are you going to perform at the level that we're going to start? Not to say there wasn't great wrestling before, but you look at these shows, the last 2-3 shows, it's like if the bar feels raised, and there are some people on the roster who are going to have to meet the bar, or they're just not going to get on TV, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's a great problem to have. There's a lot of talent on the roster. But yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, and Nat, I know my camera's off. I don't know what's going on with the computer. For some reason, everything is slow. Like every time I press a button, it takes 3 or 4 seconds to do something, and I do not understand. I've restarted, and
it sounds like Goldfish Memory Jeffrey Vegas's computer is finally catching up to him.
Yeah, I think the memory might be getting full on the computer. You might actually be right. We'll have to figure something out here, but I can see it in my video. It's like stuttery. Like I see it, but
you should just, you know what you should do? You should just put something, just put like a graphic over your face, the bottom of your face, so like people can't tell that you're not synced up.
Here, we'll put JR's head on mine. How about that?
There you go.
Oh, it doesn't stay. Damn it.
Oh man.
Dude, what a great episode though. Kazuchika Okada appearing. Fantastic. A new EVP. We'll get there. We'll get to the spot where it happened, but he is the newest member of the Elite and part of the EVPs now, I guess, right?
So Jeff, at the end of this show, I am going to make a prediction.
Okay.
I think I see the vision of this year, and I'll explain what I mean when we get there. But I have a really nice prediction that I want to throw out there. But originally, I was going to do it like halfway through the show, but I figured we need to talk about the whole show so I can lay it out. So by the end of the show, I will make a prediction on what I think the company might be doing this year.
Okay. We'll do that when we get to the Buck spot where they do their, we have a big announcement tonight. So AEW Dynamite, new look, new season, new era, it seems. I absolutely love the new tunnels. It's almost like, people thought they were bringing back the old tunnels. These are definitely new tunnels, but it brings back that old look, but it's like very, very updated. I was in love with that set all night. Every time they cut to it, I was just like, yes.
I think, like, not to be funny, but I think AEW really kind of sat down maybe a couple months ago, maybe like December. And like obviously if you were on wrestling Twitter, like what were people saying? It's like the feeling's gone, like restore the feeling,
Yep.
right? And like some of the wrestlers bought into it, like Garcia says it a lot, and I part of me wonders if like they sat down and they were like, guys, like obviously it's like internet meme, but like we got to restore the feeling. And I think bringing back the tunnels is something that like is the absolutely the right call.
Yeah.
Again, like AEW, it's funny because I was talking to one of my employees this past week about wrestling and stuff, and like he watches WWE, and I kind of was having an honest it was a polite conversation, but I was just like, yeah, this is why I don't like them, and such and such, and just like the attention to detail, the care that AEW puts into it. So like the tunnel thing has always been something that I really loved and appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's nice that it's back. I think the set looks really good. I really liked the opener. I thought the opener was great. Pretty sure it's another song from Mikey Ruckus. Because he was teasing it on Twitter this morning,
Yeah.
which
New song was awesome.
yeah, it was really good. Love the presentation of it. It all looks really good. AEW's got a new logo. The logo is like the one thing where it's like I'm kind of hoping it grows on me because I kind of liked the older logo where it was like with inside the rectangle and kind of like tattered a little bit. Like I liked that logo.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's just nitpicking, but yeah.
This logo definitely doesn't like fit down in this corner as good as the other one did.
Yeah.
But the LED panels all around, I love that, when the wrestlers come out for their entrances, like for Hook, for example, every single barricade had Hook written on it. I absolutely love the LED barricades. It
Right.
makes it more believable too when guys get thrown into them because they don't move. So it's like getting thrown into basically, an electronic wall. So it makes it a little more believable that it hurts.
Sure, yeah.
And we started off with Tony Schiavone in the ring, calling out Swerve Strickland. Crowd went absolutely ballistic here for Swerve Strickland. He is still as over as can be. I absolutely loved this promo from Swerve. He basically says, losing was his karma for all the shitty stuff he's done in AEW. And he's done some pretty shitty stuff in AEW. I really, really enjoyed this whole segment here.
Yeah, I mean, it was an excellent segment. Swerve coming out. I mean, just complete baby face, crowd
Absolutely. Yep.
behind him. The his motivation, him recognizing that it's karma that probably has, led to his shortcomings. He acknowledges he's done a lot of really bad stuff. He's just like, yeah, since I got here, I've done some real, real bad stuff.
Yeah.
But Swerve says that he appreciates the fans who have stood behind him and believed in him, and he's not going to let him down. Joe comes out, and he says, "I wanted to show you what a real world champion looks like in person, Atlanta." Um,
That was good.
Swerve's like, let's do this right now. Joe's in gear.
I noticed they were
Um,
both in gear. I was like, wait a minute.
I thought about that too for a second, but then lo and behold, it was brought immediately crashing down when the party poopers themselves,
Yeah.
the Undisputed Kingdom, showed up, and like this was such a hot angle until they showed up, and like I'm standing there watching this, right, and it's just like I know we're gonna do this every week, and like I'm not gonna try to sound too redundant, but like dude, like they come out and they just minus Wardlow, they just look like the biggest bunch of geeks.
They do.
And like I'm not sure why I should be intimidated by this faction outside of Wardlow. It's like Roddy's there with his Jeffrey Vegas glasses. Like, no offense.
I was thinking
And
of
like
getting those actually.
and like the Kingdom, like I don't find them like intimidating at all. I really don't buy into them. Luckily, the match that followed was a squash match, so that shows you that Tony Khan probably agrees with that sentiment a little bit.
Swerve calling Adam Cole Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. I fucking lost it. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, and Swerve cooking Adam Cole was great. Loved it. It was
Yeah.
really good. I just don't buy this faction. They come out and they just look like a bunch of geeks. Swerve calls Cole a manager. Says that he has Britt's second number. Thought that was hilarious. Um, and they do the whole, tag match. I liked that Swerve didn't tag Joe in at all, and he handles business. I thought that was
Neither of
really
them tagged each other in. Swerve had to tag himself in when Joe was staggered. He reached over and smacked him on the back.
right.
It was
Um,
great. The storytelling in this match was actually great. And
I agree.
before the
sorry.
match started, I was like, I know Rome's gonna hate this, but I was like, I hope this is a squash match. And I don't want people to be like, oh, but they're burying the Ring of Honor championships. And I'm like, no. The AEW World Champion and the guy fighting for the AEW World Championship, they should beat the shit out of the Ring of Honor tag champs. Like, tag champs are usually small dudes. They're not singles wrestlers. Like, I actually feel like they should get their asses kicked.
So I agree with you. I'm not saying that I thought it was a good match because it was a squash match, but in terms of what happened, it had to be a squash match.
Yeah.
There was no way that the Kingdom would have it's the world champion and the number one contender. I don't know if he's technically right now the number one contender, but
Yeah.
the guy the top babyface in the company right now that's going after the belt. These two guys are your top guys right now, and the Kingdom should not last long. And they
No.
didn't. So that's good. But it's just it still is just I just don't care about this.
Yeah, I know. We need to get
like-
those guys back on Ring of Honor, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just and the problem is that nobody in this faction minus Wardlow matches what this faction is. It's just I just don't buy any of them. Maybe Cole, maybe, but even then Cole, we talked about it. Cole's a geek for how he did this all. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. But none of these guys do I sit there and be like, yeah, man, these are really cool guys in this faction, or just like the devil and his guys. No, I just don't buy it. Any of it.
Nah, I agree, but we do get Taven and Bennett versus Joe and Swerve. It is pretty much a squash match here. They got a little bit of offense, but not much. Samoa Joe does not tag in Swerve. Swerve tags himself in, and then Swerve handles business by himself, picks up the 1, 2, 3. And Wardlow starts to come out, and since Swerve is kind of distracted by Wardlow, which I meant to mention this, Swerve at the beginning of the promo told Samoa Joe, don't turn your back on me. He said, don't ever turn your back on me. Well, Swerve turned his back on Joe. Joe locks in the rear naked choke and chokes out Swerve and stares down Wardlow to end the segment. So even though the Undisputed Kingdom were involved, I'm okay with the way everything kind of turned out here. You know what I mean? Because Wardlow is involved. So this was kind of all just to set up with Wardlow. So I'm okay with everything here. I enjoyed it.
Honestly, after the segment, I actually also kind of had a little bit of a problem with Joe just kind of dismantling Swerve at the end. I mean, I get it. It was post match and got him from behind, but he was just kind of all right. He put Swerve in the sleeper, knocked him out, threw him aside.
Yeah.
He's no, you're the one, Wardlow, and yeah, Wardlow's awesome, but I don't know. I don't know if I would have done it that way personally.
I can see what you're saying. Yep. All right, next up, we had Renee Paquette with Hook backstage, and before Hook could say a word, which he doesn't say many, Chris Jericho interrupts. And Jericho basically talks about how him and Taz have been friends forever, so he feels like he's friends with Hook too, I guess, is what I took from that. I don't know, that was a little weird.
I don't know, man. Look, I don't want Jericho on my TV. He
For
got
real.
the pop for me. He does the ECW thing. He name drops ECW. That's always gonna get a cheap pop out of me.
Yeah.
So I was all right, yeah, that's cool. But I was they're not doing this for no reason. So that means Jericho's about to start a storyline with Hook, and I'm just can Jericho just not I don't even know what else to say. I don't want to see Chris Jericho and Hook team up. I don't want to see Chris Jericho face Hook. I don't know what Chris Jericho can do at this point to make me care about Chris Jericho. I just don't know.
Yeah. Hook does give Jericho a fist bump and just says, bet. You know, that's that word these kids use nowadays instead of word, you know. But, you know, it is what it is. Next up, we had the EVPs announcing they had a huge announcement. Actually, they had two huge announcements. So they said they were going to announce those in the ring later tonight. So, we'll get to that a little bit later. But next up was Hook versus Brian Cage for the FTW Championship. And this was under the FTW rules. And thank God, Rome, because when I saw this match announced, my first reaction was like, how on earth is Hook going to beat Brian Cage in a wrestling match? And then when they were like, oh, it's basically a street fight hardcore match, I was like, oh, that's how. And they had a fucking awesome hardcore match here, or FTW rules match, however you want to look at it. I absolutely loved this. This was one of my favorite matches of the night.
Well, number one, I think Hook could beat Brian Cage in a wrestling match.
It just seems unbelievable. That's all.
Disagree. Hook is just so fucking extreme, man. He's him. Hook
Yeah.
is like, again, it's like it for me. There's a real connection with Hook because of the ECW roots, and so it's like to see Hook in 2024 going out there defending the FTW championship. Like we talk about it all the time. It's exactly how Coog feels when all of these luchadors are showing up on AEW. It's just like I mean, it's my home. This is my home. It's
This is my
ECW.
home.
It's my home. Like I feel at home. And like some people are like, Rome, you sick fuck. Like is getting slammed on thumbtacks is home? Like, yeah, kinda, a little bit. Like, I mean, I don't like the deathmatch CZW stuff, but like, yeah, I want to see people using fire extinguishers and thumbtacks and panes of glass sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. But this was great. Weapons galore all over the place. Hook using the trash can lid was one of my favorite parts because when he smacked Brian Cage over the head with that thing, he hit him 3 times in a row. The acoustics in that stadium must have been absolutely fantastic because it was super loud and you could hear it just echo through the whole place. That was awesome. Brian Cage busts out the thumbtacks, man, and you know me, I started squirming in my chair. And Hook hits a T-bone suplex onto the tacks to Brian Cage. That was awesome. And then he jumps onto Brian Cage's back and locks in the red rum. But Brian Cage does the whole like dive backwards to squish Hook into the thumbtacks. Hook refuses to let go of the red rum and gets the tap out. This was amazing. I absolutely loved the finish here. Loved it.
yeah, it's such a good finish. I loved it so much.
You could just see the thumbtacks in Hook's back while he was laying there, not letting go of the red
Yeah,
rum.
I'm
Like
not
it was
letting go. You're
oh,
gonna tap out.
so
You're gonna
good.
fucking tap out.
So good.
Yeah.
Gates of Agony attack Hook after the bell. And Jericho comes out to save Hook. And, I'm sure our worst nightmare is going to happen. Jericho's going to force himself into some weird tag match with Hook and the Gates of Agony. We're all going to hate it. We're going to love whatever Hook does in it, I'm sure. But, yeah, I'm sure that's where we'll go with that. Not even going to say anything. I understand. Next up, we had a video package for the tag team tournament. I can't wait for this tag team tournament. They showed the Lucha Brothers. They showed the Best Friends. They showed just about everybody I want. So can't wait for that tournament.
I think that this tag tournament, because like Tony Khan's kind of hyping it up like it's a March Madness bracket type deal. I think Tony should throw as many tag teams as you could fucking fit into this tournament. I don't care.
He's going to.
I don't care, like, if you're, like, I want every team you got. Like, make this bracket so low, like, just massive. Because you got 3 shows a week. You got Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage. Rampage could do a lot of that heavy lifting for you and knock out, like, 3-4 matches a week. Like, there's no reason why we can't. Like, let's just throw as many teams on there. I want to see a large-ass bracket. I want to see, I don't even know. I want to see, like, 16 plus teams. That's what I want to see.
Dude, you're probably going to see that. That might be the minimum.
I want to see 32 teams.
Yeah, I was going to say 16 might be on the low end.
I was trying to be like, generous.
Oh, I know.
That's minimum acceptance.
Just the way he was talking about it, man, like, because March Madness is 64. So I was like, let's
That's
go.
what I'm saying. Like I don't want like an 8-team tournament where
Dude,
like no, I don't
bring
want that.
in bring in tag
And
teams from everywhere. Give me
yeah, like
NJPW tag teams.
I want this to be the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate of tag team
Yeah,
tournaments. Everybody's here. I want everyone. I don't even care if you're doing something else right now. Double
yeah.
duty. I don't care.
Who are the TNA tag team champions? Bring them. All of them.
Everybody. I want everybody that doesn't work for the Fed or for the NWA. I want them. I don't even care. Oop, sorry. I don't even care. I want them.
Yeah, I actually just saw before we went on air. Did you see that Pat McAfee actually gave a shout out to Sting's retirement match on air?
Yeah, dude.
That's
Like
actually
that.
pretty cool. That's all.
Look, all right. Here's the thing, because I was wondering if anyone was going to bring that up, because I did hear about it. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee did talk about Sting and his last match and
Hmm.
stuff. And look, that's great and all. At the end of the day, this is the same company that partakes in contract tampering. This is the same company that does not let AEW run larger arenas in towns because they have a monopoly and like contracts that say no, you cannot let competition run here. I could go on. I don't fucking care that they said, "Oh, congrats, Sting."
I was just
It's like, yeah,
surprised.
okay, cool. How about you let AEW run some bigger venues? Like
Yeah,
maybe I
I
don't
don't
want to
know.
go to the Leah Core Center anymore. Why don't you let them run the Wells Fargo Center
Yeah,
in Philadelphia? Why don't you let them run the Garden if they wanted to? Like, why don't you know what I mean? Like, fuck off. Like, I don't. It means nothing to me.
it just shows a little bit of change. You know what I mean?
It
So
doesn't. That's what we call a fake. That's what's the word I'm looking for?
red herring.
No, not a red herring, but more of like the word's escaping me. When you're just like, oh, you like, corporations do it, where it's just like, we care. Like, no, you
Oh
don't.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, shut up, shut up.
I
Don't.
got you.
Yeah, stop it.
All right, next up, we had the patriarchy entering the stage so Christian Cage could join commentary for Killswitch or Luchasaurus versus Daddy Magic Matt Menard. Um, Matt Menard gives it his best shot, but he gets his ass whooped by Killswitch here. Would you
Makes
call this one a squash? I thought Matt
it was
Menard got a
like
little bit of offense in,
it was like a hair above, but it was pretty close.
Pretty close, I agree.
Well, yeah, like obviously the match wasn't what mattered here. It's the post match, which the post match was fucking phenomenal.
Exactly, which is my stance on squash matches. So,
It
we
depends.
did have post match. The patriarchy gets in the ring, starts to beat down Matt Menard. Uh, a Wayne's World, or I'm sorry, Garcia comes out for the save, who holds his own for a moment, but he eats a nasty Wayne's World for his efforts to the save. The patriarchy walking up the ramp, they start celebrating, and Adam Copeland makes his return and chokes out Nick Wayne, and he chases Christian Cage all the way through the back out into the parking lot, where Christian Cage commits grand theft auto, or carjacking, if you will, since he actually ripped a man out of his car, um, and takes off. So Christian Cage committing a major felony, if not multiple felonies, to get away from Adam Copeland. And
Mhm.
Adam Copeland announces in Toronto, Cope versus Cage Part 3 in an I Quit match. And I gotta tell you, Rome, I want to be excited for that, but I don't want either of these guys to quit. What's going on here?
Well, Jeff, this is what we call a rubber match in a feud. Um, no, so I mean, number one, I loved this Christian Cage running through the arena. Again, I'm
Oh,
always a
excellent.
big fan. I'm always a big fan. I've said this before. I love segments where like you use the location you're in because it's just like it's just fresh. It's something different. It doesn't like you're not just standing in front of an AEW set that we see every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm always a big fan of those types of segments. I love that stuff. Um, and then yeah, Christian just running away, and I love he jumps in the car. He's driving away, and he's holding the belt out of the window.
I missed that. I must have looked down to write my notes. I missed
Yeah,
that.
Christian Cage is driving away, and he's holding the championship out of the driver's window. Eh,
That's great.
but no, so Copeland, he challenges him to the I Quit match. and it's in Toronto, which is where they had their first match, and it's where they're from. So, yeah, I think this is going to be excellent, and it's the right call. I mean, these
But
guys have
it's
had a good back and forth. It makes a lot of sense for them to, I would assume, wrap up their feud. Um,
Am I missing something here? Is this not an I quit like the company match, or is just I have to say I quit in the match?
it might just be an I quit match, like in the match.
Well, I was taking it as like the company type thing.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're doing that.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm not worried at all. But if I have we ever seen an I quit match that wasn't to like quit?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, a good amount of them. I mean, Rock and Mankind at the Royal Rumble '98 comes to mind.
okay.
Um,
Just got to say I quit then. All right. I was thinking like I don't want Adam Copeland to quit, and he just got here, and
yeah,
definitely don't want Christian to quit.
I don't think it's going to be like they quit the company. Maybe they take some
Okay.
time off TV. I would assume Copeland goes over here. Um,
Yeah, me too. So that's why I
but
was like, I don't want Christian to quit. He's awesome.
yeah, again, I don't think it's going to end with anyone leaving the company. I just think it's a match where it's like it makes the most sense because Christian Cage can't weasel his way out of it. Like Copeland himself is going to have to quit for them
Yeah.
to for Cage to get out of there with the championship.
We had
So
Jay versus Roman. I think that was an I quit the bloodline, wasn't it?
no, I think it was just a title.
Just an I quit. Okay. And Cena versus JBL. I do remember that I quit match. I thought that was for JBL to quit the company. You're probably right, Nat. All right, that's fine with me then. I actually love I quit matches because they wind up being brutal. So as long as both guys stay, I'm good. Let's see here. Next up, Renee was with Kyle O'Reilly, who announces that he is cleared.
Yeah,
I was so happy to hear this come out of his mouth right away. Like that was basically the first thing he said. Super happy. You know, we were speculating like maybe he whispered to the kingdom like I'm not cleared. But he basically just whispered to the kingdom that I'm gonna be doing things on my own.
I mean, no offense. I thought that you guys were out of your fucking minds when you were like, "Oh, what if he has to retire? He's not cleared." Like they would not have him return like that. Like
Yeah.
that'd be such a cock tease. It'd be such a yeah, like what are you talking about? Like it would be that would be bad. Like we would literally I would be sitting here on the podcast right now tearing the company a new one for using a cash cow of like having this guy's return hyped up and happen just for him to come out and be like, actually.
Well, let me throw this at you then. So if he wants to return to do this on his own, like why did he come out there to his group of friends? Why did he go out there like that?
Because it's a return that makes the most sense, and even he said that he says during this promo, he says that like he's got like he has such a deep connection with those guys, so like he saw them, he just didn't know what to do, so he just like
I got you.
that's why he said he's like I went out there and like hey like like they're my friends and like I love them forever, but it's just like I'm back at the bottom of the mountain, so like maybe I gotta go my own path here.
Yeah. Absolutely loved Kyle O'Reilly mentioning, I think it was in an interview with someone, that Sting, when he hit Kyle O'Reilly in the lower midsection with the bat and then kicked the bat, sent a shockwave up his spine that shattered his neck. That's why he's been out for so long. I absolutely love Kyle O'Reilly having the kayfabe. You know, it's just that's hilarious. Loved it. Next up, we had a nice recap of Sting's last match. That was an amazing edit from Revolution they put together there. And Tony Schiavone was in ring with the EVPs right after that little, edit of Sting. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, who kicked Tony Schiavone out of the ring immediately. And Nick screaming that Sting cheated because of his sons coming in, the 305-pound, 6'8". That was great. I absolutely loved that. And they announced they're entering the tournament, the tag team tournament. So this was great. And the two items that were on their agenda. Now, Rome, if you had asked me to like guess some items that would have been on the agenda, neither of these would have been anywhere near what I would have guessed. But the first one was Hangman Adam Page, after putting his hands on two referees during his match at Revolution has been suspended from the Elite indefinitely. And the second one, Kenny Omega, who has disappeared from the face of the earth, has been fired from the Elite.
Yeah, for not making his dates for no reason. They say. Um, yeah, this is great. The EVPs, they suspend Hangman. Now, like, people are saying that Hangman's suspended from AEW. It's like, no, they said
Oh,
that
no,
he's
he
suspended
said
from the
the Elite.
Elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But Fightful is saying that Hangman's taking some time off, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like, they fired Kenny Omega from the Elite, and citing that he's not making his dates. He dropped off the face of the earth for no good reason. Um, yeah, just hilarious stuff. And then Eddie Kingston comes out. Eddie comes out. He's wearing his Timbs, his sweatpants, and he's like, you said you're gonna find me. Well, you might as well get it out of the way now. He throws a wad of bills at them. Uh,
Yeah.
they try to say like, hey, we can talk it out. They end up fighting, and then we hear the coin drop,
Bling. I lost
and
my shit.
Kazuchika Okada showed up. And I know I'm saying it wrong, but I just love fucking saying it that way, so I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Kazuchika.
Yeah. I know, but it's fun to say it
I was
that
just
way.
seeing if I
So,
could do it right,
I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So Okada, he shows up. You think he's siding with Eddie, which I don't know. Like, I definitely called it, like, to myself. I was sitting there watching. I was like, oh, he's totally going to join the Bucks. Like,
Yeah.
there's like the joke has been that Okada is like the third Jackson, right? Like, so it's just like, yeah. So he lays out Eddie with the Rainmaker, and he joins the Elite. I thought that this was fucking incredible.
It was tremendous. Loved it.
Yeah, just amazing.
These EVP characters, man, I absolutely love them. They're definitely settling into the character. That little vignette they had earlier where they were gonna talk about the announcements, the way that they did it, they were kind of like sports announcers. They were like, later tonight, 2 announcements in the ring. I freaking loved it, dude. It was just
No. So they were doing the Tony Khan thing.
yeah, no.
Yeah, it wasn't that they were doing sports now. They were
No,
doing
yeah,
Tony
you're
Khan.
right. You're right.
And I also find it really funny that, like, most of the time people troll Tony because they say, "Oh, that wasn't a good announcement." And, like, the irony is that, like, they were doing the Tony Khan announcement thing, parodying it, and then it ended up being fucking Okada. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, that actually was a pretty big announcement. So.
Yeah, that was fantastic. All right, let's see here. So yeah, Okada is the newest member of the Elite, as announced by Matt Jackson. So Kenny fired, Okada takes his place, and you had been talking about making a prediction. What you got?
Jeff, as I said, I'm going to make the prediction at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna do it during this segment. No problemo. Next up, we had a really awesome recap of Will Ospreay versus Takeshita, and I just gotta say, AEW, whoever is making these video packages that are recaps of your pay-per-views, give them a raise. I absolutely love that Sting package that they showed. I love this Will Ospreay versus Takeshita package they showed. Unbelievable stuff. Love those video packages they're pumping out. Next up, Chris Statlander versus Riho. Coog, the return of Riho. This match was freaking fantastic, dude. Statlander showing off her strength, body pressing Riho over her head. Riho showing her speed and, ability to take an ass whooping. And Stokely Hathaway once again getting involved, putting a chain in the ring and distracting the referee. Statlander grabbed it for a moment and thought about it, but she throws it out of the ring, and because she did not choose to use that steel chain roam, Riho hits her with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. The surprise roll up for the 1, 2, 3. Riho, her match back, gets an awesome win. I loved this match, and dude, the storytelling that's going on in this Statlander Stokely Willow feud, I guess is what I would put it. it's fantastic. I love what they're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, it's great storytelling. The women's storylines have just been really good in AEW, and next week it's about to get a lot bigger, for obvious reasons. Yeah, this has been really good. I kind of picked up early in the match actually that Stat's probably turning heel because I thought it was weird that Willow didn't go down to the ring with them. That was my first indication. I was like, that's weird. And then you if you watch the match, Stats working very like heel light, like just very like her mannerisms, the way she's like mocking like or showing off her strength, the way she was doing it, like it was very clear to me that that was what she was doing,
Yeah.
which was great. I mean, I thought that it was a great match, and we're gonna continue to see. I think at Big Business, yeah, next week we're gonna see more of that storyline.
Yep. All right. Next up was a recap of Tony Storm tapping out Diana Parazzo at Revolution. Again, another awesome video package doing a recap of a match at the pay-per-view. Renee Paquette was with Tony Storm, and Tony Storm with Mariah May dressed as her younger version again. Just, I can't believe how much Mariah May looks exactly like Tony Storm in her younger career. It's just wild how much she looks like her. And Tony Storm announces she will be presenting the first ever Tony Award, and that's Tony with an I, so that they don't get sued. Did she say on Collision?
Yeah, she said that she was gonna give out the Tony Awards.
That's so good. I love that.
Yeah, it's really good.
What's up, Haseen Terrell? Enjoyed NXT and WWE 2K24? Good, man. Enjoyed the bump at Xbox Showcase as well. Nice.
Well, that was a good Xbox showcase today, Haseen. It was actually pretty damn good. I was very pleased with it. There was some really cool looking stuff.
Well, Haseen, if you are into video games as well, seeing the Xbox Showcase, go on down below in the description. And Rome has another podcast, The Game Room. They hold that every either Monday or Tuesday, something like that, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, like Dev just has so much stuff going on. We're still doing it weekly, but sometimes Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, it's kind of like, unfortunately.
Yeah, no worries. But definitely check out their channel. Hit that subscribe button. Help them out. They definitely do a good job over there with the weekly gaming news.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem. But this was excellent, man. Tony Storm, I mean, I never thought like her character would keep getting better and better and better, but it just does. You know what I mean? Like, she's actually acknowledging Mariah May now. Like, she's kind of like, interacting with her more, not just ignoring her. I'm just loving everything about this. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we had Renee Paquette backstage with Stokely Hathaway and Willow. Stokely was a little disappointed in Statlander for, not accepting his help there. And they announced Willow will face Riho at Big Business, right?
Yes.
And Willow cuts an excellent, like, nervous, young wrestler promo here. Willow is just evolving at a crazy rate as well. She is unreal on the mic now. She's like, I think I can beat her. Yeah. She just seemed very nervous. I loved it. It was just fantastic. Love Willow.
Yeah, definitely.
Next up was Tony Schiavone in ring with Darby Allin. Darby Allin cuts a quick promo on, that was Sting's last match and how he feels. And he relinquishes the titles here, saying that there's no way he could ever replace Sting. And Jay White comes out and cuts a nice promo on Darby here for their match next week. And, Darby's got Sting's bat now. And I really hope that's a thing moving forward where Darby that's his thing. You know what I mean? He's got Sting's bat now.
So, Jeff, I do want to ask you a question, right? So,
Sure.
I want to know what you think in your mind, the percentage or how worried you are that Darby Allin's going to die on Mount Everest.
Oh, about like 80%, 75, 80%.
Yeah, because I'm kind of legitimately concerned.
That's
Um,
something you need to train for, like, for months before you go do it. So I don't know if he's been training for that. So
well, apparently also, last year, it was like the highest recorded deaths on Everest in like a long, long time. And
hmm
I'm just like, that's not good. I think like over 200 people died. And I was like, oh. I was like,
dude,
all right.
I don't know, man. You know, if Jay White versus Darby is his last match, hopefully it's a banger. But I pray for Darby. I will be praying for Darby. I really hope he makes
I'm
it back.
so concerned. I'm so concerned.
I really am too. Like I'm trying. I don't mean to make light of it, but absolutely, like
No, I
that's
know.
one of the most
What can you
dangerous
do?
things you can
Like,
do.
yeah, like what else can you do? The guy's doing it, so it's just like, what are we supposed to do? Like, yeah, no, I'm legitimately nervous for him. I'm legitimately concerned.
Like
I hope he's okay.
that might be
I
on the top of my list of things not to do besides get into a homemade submarine and go down to visit the Titanic. You know what I mean?
and use a third party PS2 controller to control the sub.
Yeah, you know, they're gonna have like a Game Boy Advanced as their map up there. Like,
Darby's like, that's insane. I would never do that. Clearly, I would use a first
he's like,
party PS2
I'm
controller.
going the other direction. Instead of going down, I'm gonna go up.
Yeah. Ah, I'm so concerned. And
I
like I
really
think
am, dude. I really
he had a
am.
line during this promo where he's like, "I'm probably gonna die," and
Nat
I'm just
says
like,
300 plus last year.
"Yeah,
Fuck, that's over. That's like averaging one a day.
yeah, you know."
He's got 0% body fat.
Oh
Zero.
man, oh man, I don't feel good about this. We're sitting here talking about it right now. I'm really scared that like a month from now we're gonna be like having a memorial. I don't even want to think about it. It's fucking terrible. I'm so terrified. I'm so nervous for the guy. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that's not good.
that's rough, man.
I don't even want to think about
He
it.
even mentioned it tonight. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going off to climb Everest," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, bye, Darby." Like that's pretty much what I was like. Bye, Darby. Like
Darby better use like the money he's made on AEW to like have the best Sherpas and like
that's what
the
I'm
best.
saying. Tony better be
Like,
like, "Hold on, I'm buying the fucking #1 Sherpa for your ass."
yeah, I think Tony Khan needs to step in and be like, all right, well, if you want to do this, that's fine, but we're gonna make sure that like you
You're gonna
survive.
have the best gear available.
We're
He's
gonna
gonna
have
go
like
to like fucking NASA and fucking Tesla to get a spacesuit for his ass.
yeah, it's gonna be like insulated like living quarters where it's like it blows up and then it's like a heater inside. Like, yeah, no, we're
Well, if
not
it
doing
makes
this.
you feel any better, Rome, the official number from the Nepalese government is 17. Thank you, Nat.
I mean, I guess I like that there's an official number and an unofficial number, and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
unofficially 300, but the government can only prove 17 of them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, oh, you mean these people just magically went missing on this mountain and were never seen again? It's like, we're not going to assume that they're dead. Like, huh?
Oh boy. All
All right.
right. This was a good promo from Jay White here. I'm glad we're kind of focusing on Jay White again. We got to get him away from the Bang Bang Scissor Gang now that we got these four guys in AEW. You know, I'm talking Kenny, Okada, Will, Jay White. Like that's like a new. Somebody was mentioning it in the Discord, like a new four pillars, but we're not actually going to call them four pillars. Just four guys that we can rely on week in and week out. You know, to carry this company, and that they're here now. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up we had Julia Hart and Sky Blue with a nice little video package, very enjoyable here. And then a House of Black promo. So I was a little bit surprised that they did like a female House of Black promo and then a male House of Black promo, but it is what it is right there back to back. Really good promo from the House of Black here. You know, I was kind of surprised that Buddy was speaking as much as he did. He usually doesn't talk very much, but Buddy cut a really nice promo here, and all three of them did. So nice to see the House of Black putting in some work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was fine with me with them doing two different segments because they're two different storylines.
Yeah.
It helped keep it a little bit more clear, a little bit more focused. So that was good. And then yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great. I thought both of them were great segments. The House of Black. I'll save it for later. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they immediately cut over to Mark Briscoe, and he's like, I'm not supposed to be scared. And then essentially, there's going to be a match between Mark Briscoe and the House of Black. He wants to go 1-on-3, but Jay Lethal shows up to be like, listen, man, I got your back. And Mark Briscoe, taking the words directly out of my mouth, I was literally about to say them, says, you better not tell me Jeff Jarrett's coming. And I was like, yep, yep. But here we are with, it's going to be Jeff Jarrett. And, we always say Jeff Jarrett does great stuff. I know House of Black only has a limited time left, or at least it's speculated that way. And Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, Mark Briscoe just aren't who I want to be seeing the House of Black feud with on their way out,
Dude, look, the way I look at it is that House of Black better win this match
Mm-hmm.
because, like, I'm I can't sit here and live in and like watch this show on Saturday and be like, "Yep, Mark Briscoe, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett beat the House of Black." I think at that point, if the House of Black lose that match, it's over. Like,
I would call that a failure as a faction at that point. I'd be like,
yeah,
oh, that was fumbled.
I
Yeah.
would too. I would call that a fumble. I was just like,
Yeah.
all right, well, pack it up. Like,
Yeah.
regardless of the reason why, that's what it is at that point.
Yep.
Like, they should
Agreed.
not. They have no business winning this match. Like, I'm sorry, they just don't. But the vibe is that they will. The vibe is that Mark Briscoe and friends are going to win this match. I don't like that vibe. I don't like that vibe at all.
Nope. I agree. But it is going to be an Atlanta street fight. Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Mark Briscoe versus all three members of the House of Black. We'll see how that goes. They usually prove us wrong when having a good match. It's just the story is what we're not into.
Mm-hmm.
And next up, it was time for the main event. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Oh my God, Rome. Another fucking just absolutely incredible match from Will Ospreay. First I want to mention Don Callis getting on commentary and basically mentioning because of how good the match was at Revolution between Ospreay and Takeshita. He basically has some pull with Tony Khan now. He called himself the Billionaire Whisperer, and that's the reason he was able to get this match booked as well. And I've seen people being like, where's the story? It doesn't make sense that they're infighting. And I'm like, it absolutely does. It's Don Callis trying to get his own group over and trying to basically advertise his own group here. And my God, Ospreay and Fletcher. At the beginning of the match, that little hug that they had really got me, dude, because these guys have been basically wrestling all over the world together for the past 5 years in the United Kingdom. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, they're main eventing an AEW Dynamite, one of the most important Dynamites post the Sting era, the new era of AEW, the new logo, the new set. I mean, these guys are main eventing. It's just an awesome story for me. And I've been following Will Ospreay since pretty much since you've known me. This is great. I just loved every minute and every second of this whole match.
Yeah, it was an excellent match. It was just so freaking good. Like, we're sitting here with these Will Ospreay matches and just, Will's entering his prime. I think he's 30.
Yeah.
And it's just, bro, it's such a great match, and AEW has a real big opportunity this year to do something very special.
It's the rest of this year. I mean, barring some unlikely fumble, we have an incredible year ahead of us here. Especially, I'll get to it here in just a moment. I've been staring at this picture for the past, how long we've been live? 53 minutes. I've been staring at it for about 50 of them. This match, I didn't write much down because I was too focused watching this match, but the ending was Osprey and Fletcher just kicking out of incredible finishers. Kyle Fletcher down on his knees, basically just, come on, give it to me. I can take it. Osprey's like, good for you, buddy, and hits him with the nastiest hidden blade straight to his face for the 1, 2, 3. I mean, just wow, fucking wow, this match. This is a back-to-back 5-star match from Will Ospreay. One at Revolution, next one here at Dynamite. And as they are mid-ring, Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher embracing, I guess, would be a term. Whose music hits Rome other than, I mean, both of our favorites, I guess I want to say, at any given moment, one of our favorites, Bryan motherfucking Danielson, the American Dragons music hits, comes down to the ring, and we go off air with this stare down. I got goosebumps immediately. This wasn't even one of the matches that was in my head, dude. The other 3 guys that I was naming, Kenny, Jay White, Okada, I feel like an idiot for forgetting Danielson in that mix. Like, this is going to be insane.
So this is you say that, but for me, this was the match. This was the match. I was standing, I was pacing,
Oh,
I was shaking. Um,
I was just
this
clapping.
is dude, I'm expecting that this match is gonna be at Dynasty. Like, if they do this match next week for big business, if they do this match next week, I don't even fucking know. I don't even know. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for next week at that point. If they do it on Dynamite on big business, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. So that's something. Um, and that closes the show. And that's what we call a banger of a moment.
And
Jeff,
look at that.
I want.
Oh,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say, look at
Yep.
that tunnel up there too, behind these guys in that picture, man. That's just such a great shot.
Yeah. So Jeff, I am going to take a shot here. I'm going to make a prediction because I see a vision. And like, this is fantasy booking. It might not happen. I don't know if we're this lucky, but I'm going to take a stab at predicting 2024's big rivalry. Now, like, we know that this happens every year where it's like they do the Anarchy in the Arena, they do the Blood and Guts, and now you have Wembley, so there's probably going to be some big lead-ins to Wembley in August. I'm predicting that the major storyline this year is going to be a 5-on-5. Of course, you need that for those types of matches. I jotted this down, and I want to get your thoughts about this. And there's a lot of connections with everybody here. So on one side, we have Matthew Jackson, Nicholas Jackson, and Okada, the Elite, teaming up with Takeshita. And my 5th guy for here is either going to be Kyle Fletcher or Hobbs, someone from the Don Callis family, against the 5-man team of Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, Will Ospreay, Eddie Kingston, and Bryan Danielson.
Holy jeez.
And like, here's the thing, right? So this is obviously fantasy booking. I'm taking a shot here. If I'm right, you know what I say. Give me the flowers later. But I just think that there's a lot of tie-in where all of this makes sense because obviously the Bucks, they fired Kenny, they suspended Hangman, Okada joined them. Eddie got involved tonight with Okada and the Bucks, so he's built into that. Plus, Eddie's just genuinely someone you're going to have in those matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Danielson showed up tonight. I think Danielson's going to want to wrestle Ospreay, and they're going to have a banger match. I think after the Eddie match on Sunday and like that post-match promo, I don't think Danielson's going to be a heel for the rest of his run. I think he's going to be a babyface. So I could totally see Danielson and Ospreay after having their match backing each other up. Plus, if Eddie's on that group and now Danielson respects Eddie, that could make a lot of sense. And then obviously, yes, Don Callis and Kenny feuded last year, but like I just feel like it makes a lot of sense to kind of put Takeshita and Hobbs or Fletcher in with this. So again, this is a shot in the dark. That maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off by one or two, but I think that's what they're gonna do.
I see. I like what Nat says here. Basically, the United Kingdom, Will Ospreay's team, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis. I think we've had the guys in the past too under the same under the same umbrella there with Ospreay, with Jeff Cobb and the great Okan maybe could come in, or something like that.
Maybe. I just think at this point you have such a strong roster, like
You are
you
right.
don't even need them. You don't even need them. And then like the great thing is that with these two like 5-on-5s, you look at so like let's say you get through the blood and guts, you get through the anarchy in the arenas, like you go to Wembley and you have built-in matches here where it's like you could do, Okada versus Omega there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's matches built into this idea that I have. And it's like, we'll see. Obviously, there's a lot of things in play, but I mean, if we were like when I was making this prediction, I thought back about the years that they, every year that they do this, and in like February, March, like the seeds are usually there. We just don't put them together. So that was why I was kind of like, this could make sense. Connecting dots a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see if it all pans out that way.
Yeah, we shall see. All right, excellent episode of Dynamite. Just a phenomenal way to go off the air, staring at Danielson and Ospreay here. I mean, just blew my mind, to be honest with you, the ending of this. We went 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes past the hour. I think that's a record for how long we've gone past the hour, if I am not mistaken.
Maybe.
But my God, man, unreal episode. Kind of needed it. It felt like it was going to be an excellent episode like this week. Something about it just, I don't want to say something. They put the new logos out there, the new graphics and everything, the new stage. Fan-freaking-tastic. And my camera is frozen. But this was awesome. I'm loving every minute of this Dynamite. I can't wait for Collision. Have we heard anything about Collision possibly being a new set or anything like that?
I'm going to assume so.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Yeah, so I do have the lineup real quick. Let's run through this, Jeff, because I feel like your computer's about to have an aneurysm. So yeah, coming up, we have a bunch of matches announced now. At Big Business, the AEW World Championship will be on the line. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. We also have Riho versus Willow Nightingale planned for Big Business. Darby Allin will hopefully be having his not last match of all ever against Jay White. Announced for Rampage, the TBS Championship, Julia Hart is having an open house against Robin Renegade. Action Andretti will take on Penta. There will be a three-way dance tag match. Private Party, Top Flight, and Commander and Brian Keith. Another tag match on Rampage, Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta versus Kip Sabian and The Butcher. Announced for Collision, Chris Jericho, for some reason, I guess, is just the new Lucha Libre gatekeeper because he's taking on. It's spelled Titan, but I think Excalibur was like Titan. So Mariah May
accent on it.
yeah, Mariah May is going to be in action on Collision. We will see the debut of the Elite on Collision.
Ooh.
Bryan Danielson will take on Shane Taylor. House of Black are having an Atlanta street fight against Mark Briscoe, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett.
Nice. Yo, you got to check out Okada was added to the roster page. And dude, his picture on the roster page is excellent. He's wearing like a Japanese kimono, but it's all the Okada dollars. That is excellent. Love it.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got an excellent the rest of 2024 is going to be incredible, man. Like I said, barring some completely unlikely blunder, We have an amazing 2024 ahead of us. This is a great year to be an AEW fan.
Yeah, it's the next few weeks alone are going to be special. So yeah, we're going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, same. Wanted to throw one more thing out there before we get out of here. JR, it's been reported, has signed a 1-year deal with AEW. So JR has re-signed, and it is believed it's for special events and pay-per-views. So nice to have JR in a limited capacity. I think that's where he excels, coming down for a main event, for a large match and doing some pay-per-views. I think that's right where he belongs now.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Anything else that you wanted to go over before we get out of here?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Big week next week. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for next week. We will be doing a watch along for Dynamite Big Business in Boston. Collision is this Saturday. You gonna be here for Collision review?
Yes.
All right, we will be here Saturday night for the Collision review at same time as always, 10:05 p.m. Eastern. Rome, go ahead and close us out.
Absolutely. Well, this has been episode 205 of the Broken Tables podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here tonight. We really appreciate it. Queen Nat, the Coog, there's a few other people earlier, but for some reason my scroller is not working. So thank you to everyone hanging out with us here tonight. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. We are 7 subscribers away from 800. So if you could get us to 800, that would be much appreciated.
Please.
If you want to support the channel, you could also become a member. You get a really cool luchador mask, a badge next to your name. You can join our Discord where we're talking about pro wrestling and other fun stuff all the time, all times of the day. Come be part of the community. Come hang out with us. Come shoot the shit. We love it. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us here on YouTube. Yeah. Other than that, big week coming up, like I said, and like I said, we have the Game Room podcast as well. Every usually Monday nights, that you can come check us out in the other channel in the description below. We're gonna be talking about the Xbox showcase amongst other things. But until Saturday, we'll see you guys later.
All right, and like Rome said, thank you everybody in chat for joining us here tonight. Love when you guys are here live to interact with us in the chat. For those of you watching afterwards, please try to join us live. We love hearing your guys' questions and your opinions on the show. But until next time, Top Guys out.